This week on the Autocar Show, we bring you an exclusive first drive of Volkswagen's hot hatch, the Polo GTI. We bring you all the action from the jury round of the Autocar Awards 2016.
The hot hatch market in India, well, it's getting hotter. Fiat spiced things up with the Punto Abarth, but now Volkswagen is going to take it past boiling point. No, it's not with the GT TSI, but with this, the Polo GTI. We are going to get this legendary moniker to India very soon. Let's see what it's like. Normally at this point we talk of how the car looked or what the interiors are all about, but not with the GTI. First things first, I was behind the wheel in a flash. After all, the reason why anyone would want one of these would be for the sheer thrill of driving. And a big part of that thrill comes from the absolute cracker of an engine. Now this Polo has a 1.8 TSI engine developing around 190 bhp, and in a car that weighs just around 1200 kilos, it is very, very quick. Woo! Having tasted this engine under the hood of other VW Group cars, what surprised me this time is that there's just hardly any turbo lag. The Polo pulls strongly from low revs, pinning you down into the contours of your seat all the way to the red line. Before I realize I'm doing 200 clicks in a Polo. Unbelievable. Oh my, yeah, just floor it and she goes and she goes. Engine note, well, they could have done something to the exhaust. It has got a slight sporty rasp, but just the base of this car, you expect the sound to match as well. Now the official figures say that the Polo bolts from 0 to 100 in just 6.7 seconds. Now that's 2 seconds quicker than the Abarth Punto. But that's not all. Top speed is rated at 236 kph, which makes it quicker than many luxury sedans. Now I'm driving a manual here, but India will get the 7-speed twin-clutch auto. Now it's not just the engine, but even the chassis has been beefed up as well. This thing is really hunkered down. It's much tauter, the steering is much quicker. It really darts from corner to corner. But I have to say, the Volkswagen steering always been a bit of a weak point for me. It feels just a little bit too numb. Feels like you're driving with some heavy gloves on. The steering may not offer ultimate feedback, but it's still quick and accurate. The 17-inch tires cling to tarmac like 4 hungry leeches that just don't want to let go. This does live up to the GTI name, boy. Oh, just look at the way it just grips and grips, 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 grips. Woo! There's hardly any body roll, and equipped with a limited slip diff that's hooked up to the stability control system, the Polo GTI is remarkably neutral. I have to push really hard to break traction. Whew, that was fun. Now I'm driving the 5-door version, but VW will bring the 3-door to India, which I'm not sure is such a good idea. But VW feels it adds to the exclusivity of the car. Other than that, it still looks very much like a regular Polo. Of course, the ride height is reduced, so it looks nicely hunkered down. You also get GTI cues like the honeycomb grille, red accents all over the car, the flat bottom steering wheel with the GTI logo, and tartan seats. Now these seats are very GTI, but I doubt they will make it to India. And most likely, VW will have to cover the insides in as much leather or fake leather as possible to justify the price tag. Oh, this car is just amazing to drive. It's so much fun. It's just a pocket rocket. But this car is also an assault on your pocket. What we hear is going to cost upwards of 20 lakhs. Now that's an insane amount of money to spend on a hatchback. But when you drive it, you might think that's not a bad way to burn rubber and burn some cash as well.
Stay tuned as the battle for Car of the Year gets underway after this break.
Life in the auto industry has always lived in the fast lane, and that's exactly how it is for us. Well, every year there's so many launches. We think it'll slow down, but it never does.
And with each launch, we at Autocar India are dealing with hundreds of new questions, but along with that, there's lots of excitement as well. And at the end of the year, the excitement just gets higher and higher.
Well, that's because we get to take all the cars we've reviewed through the year, put them together in one place, put them head to head, have animated discussions to answer just one question: which is the car of the year?
That's right, it's time for the 2016 Autocar Awards.
Presented by Reliance General Insurance and powered by Speed.
For the 2016 Autocar Awards, there are as many as 23 contenders in the fray. Price tags range from under 3 lakh rupees to over 2 crore rupees. And there's plenty in between. Starting at the small end of the scale, we have Renault's Kwid. This entry-level hatchback is tough, cool, and has all the makings of a game changer. Combining the practicality of a 3-row MPV in a sub-4 meter footprint is the Datsun Go Plus. The stylish and modern hatchback from Tata, the Bolt, aims to take on the best from the East and the West. This Ford hatchback has been built to please the Indian crowds. But is the FIGO Ford enough? Maruti Suzuki adds zing to the battle of large hatchbacks with the capable and stylish Baleno. The Jazz is known for being ultra spacious, super sensible and rock solid. And the all-new Honda is even better than before. Ford's mid-size sedan, the Aspire, has all the goodness of the Figo, but with the added practicality of a boot. Maruti Suzuki's S-Cross takes on the compact SUV competition with a different stance. Renault's MPV, the Logi, isn't pretty, but it has many virtues that make it an enduring people mover. Volkswagen's Beetle is unmistakable, even in its more masculine guise. And now it's fun to drive as well. Audi's A3 Cabriolet. It's the easiest way to experience the thrill of open-top motoring in India. DC Avanti is India's first homegrown sports car. Its strongest suite is flamboyance, not performance. The third generation Audi TT Coupe is just wow to look at, and now it wows you with the way it drives as well. Audi's S5 Sportback is everything Audi stands for: sharp, fast and comfy, and it's all delivered in an extra large helping. BMW's M4 is the soul of the M division, and despite dramatic changes, it still deserves to be. the Mercedes Maybach S-Class. It's a sublime combination of luxury and power. BMW's hybrid sports car, the i8, is fantastic. Looks, performance, it's got it all. And it also has planet Earth's back. Coming to the SUVs, we have Mahindra's TUV 300, or the tough utility vehicle. It is a rugged SUV packaged into a city-friendly sub-4 meter length. Hyundai's Creta offers a mix of ingredients that make it a very tempting option for compact SUV lovers. Chevrolet's Trailblazer is a mammoth old-school SUV that has a lot of spirit in it. The new Discovery Sport makes for a tantalizing entry-level offering from Land Rover. Volvo's XC90 signals the arrival of a new Volvo. This SUV is safe and solid, but indulgent and cutting-edge as well. Audi's blockbuster SUV, the Q7, is a lot more car-like than before. And that's mostly good news. Of course, to evaluate a wide variety of cars as this, we have a power-packed jury panel, starting with Manvendra Singh, Narain Karthikeyan, Shapur Kotwal, Hormazd Sorabjee, and Renuka Kirplani. The jury got down to testing the cars with gusto, ticking them off their list one by one. The SUVs, meanwhile, were tested on a special rough road track.
Well, we've got quite a range of cars here. There's everything from the little Quid to the Overlux Maybach. I mean, it's a hell of a choice.
I can't imagine it. It must be a really tough job for the jury members.
It was.
So, I mean, narrowing it down to what would be the most relevant cars for the Indian market, I think that's the really tough part, isn't it?
I think we worked hard, but we managed to do it.
It was a long and exhaustive process. And it all boiled down to these 6. Everyone was eager to get a taste of the small but attention-grabbing Renault Kwid.
Renault has done a super job of packaging the vehicle. I mean, I'm just impressed with the level of equipment. You know, the trims, it doesn't feel like a entry hatch.
The suspension ride height and the road feel that you get on the steering wheel are far safer than you get it in a small car like that. You don't get that rickety feeling.
So overall, the practicality is fantastic. There's so much storage space. The boot is huge, and I think it really takes equipment to a new level by having a touch screen in a car under 3 lakhs. Now that really is something I don't think we've seen anywhere else in the world.
I think the only thing I found lacking was a little bit on the power, like it struggled on the uphill section, but I have to still put it back into perspective that this is a small car. When you view it from the outside, it looks so tough, so strong, you keep forgetting it's actually a compact car.
Of course, you'd like the smoother engine, nicer power delivery, better brakes, but overall I think what Renault has done is they've really impressed us with the things they've got right.
Honda's Jazz was revolutionary when it first came to India. Can the second generation Jazz do it all over again?
So this is the second generation Jazz, and clearly it's got the strengths of the older one, which is very clever packaging. It's an extremely spacious car, very intelligently designed from the interior, lots of good storage spaces, and being a Honda, it's pretty sharp to drive as well. Got a decent steering. The 1.2 engine lacks a bit of mid-range punch, but really is pretty rev happy.
And I think this time around they've got the pricing right, which makes it far more attractive than before.
It's less expensive, it's nicer on the inside, it's got just as much space, maybe a bit more power from the engines. Otherwise, it's a great package.
Honda's fit and finish quality is legendary. Everybody is aware of it. It's definitely an upmarket car amongst all the contenders.
From the looks point of view, it's more practical, but you don't have, it's not a standout. And similar with the interiors, quality is very good. Honda does a very good job. on the fit and finish, but it's just very bland.
I think if there's one thing lacking, it's performance, especially coming on the uphill sections. I really felt this engine struggling a bit, and I think that's what lets it down, because you expect, you know, those wonderful engines from Honda, especially when it's petrol.
Historically, the Baleno nameplate hasn't spelled success. But to change things around, Maruti has pulled out the stops for this hatch.
One always thought of Maruti as a car which was for the masses. But with the Baleno, they've taken it to a different level. Pleasantly surprised with this car. In terms of comfort, in terms of fit and finish, and I think it's a little soft, but it's a nice thing. I think that's what the Indian consumer needs. It doesn't need a hard riding car.
A lot of interesting things on the inside. You have touchscreen, you have Apple CarPlay, which is like a first in the segment. So a lot of new things going on here. The interiors are nice. It gives you that feeling of being, you know, a luxury hatch. Now, I think what I really like is this petrol engine. It's nice to drive and the car feels light and easy.
Compared to the Swift, you know, the Swift was always a nice handling car. It didn't have too much roll and so on. It was much more crisp, more livelier to drive, and this is just a little bit dull from that point of view. The way you sit in it, and for some reason it just doesn't have that little bit of that sportier appeal the Swift had.
Again, there are shortcomings. Interiors are a bit drab with these all black interiors, and overall the car really doesn't give you a huge sense of luxury which you are expecting, because this car is sold under the Nexa premium brand. But overall, a Baleno, really a fantastic package, really a great hatchback.
Ford's FIGO Aspire was also being scrutinized to see if this sensible compact sedan still had that Ford edge.
The engine is quite strong, very drivable. To simulate our traffic conditions, I think this would handle it quite well.
I'd forgotten really how much fun the FIGO Aspire is to drive. It's got a nice peppy engine, it handles nicely, the ride quality is good, so it's got a lot of good points going for it.
Nothing like the previous generation Fords. The other cars used to be crisp to drive and handled really well, but that DNA is gone, and it's more, maybe rides a little bit better, but there's no character at all.
I think they've done a very good job. I mean, the fit and finish, the quality of the product, the ride of the product, the performance of the product is really spot on.
Really a car that is a great package from an overall ownership perspective. But it does lack a little bit of that fun factor which previous Fords had. But again, if you look at the price point this has come at, it's pretty good value for money.
Mahindra's TUV 300 can grab attention, but is that backed up with a solid package?
I think at the outset what's really impressive is the level of interior on this SUV. I think Mahindra have lifted it quite a bit. It's not fabulous, but it really is quite nice for what it offers, and I think the best part about it is the value that all of this comes at. It's a spacious SUV that's got good level of interiors, and I think in its segment it offers great value.
Just wish it had a slightly stronger engine. Mahindra have always been famous for their strong, torquey diesels, and this one, the 3-cylinder, falls a bit short.
Hyundai's Creta has come a bit late to the compact SUV party, but the moot point is, has it come prepared?
It rides nicely, drives nicely, and I think one of the best driving Hyundais we've experienced so far.
Great engine. They've used the same engine from the Verna. Beautifully smooth, punchy diesel. Nice look to the car, nice stand-up SUV profile. Good interiors, good comfort, decent ride.
The only thing missing really is four-wheel drive, but quite frankly, most owners aren't really going to go off tarmac, so that's just an unnecessary weight and perhaps even cost penalty.
But if you want to use it really in a hardcore off-road situation, probably it won't serve your purpose. But for the city, urban driving, town and country is what you call, this is town and country vehicle.
The top of the line loaded model is pretty expensive, and you go into an area where you ask yourself, do I really want to pay so much money for this car?
Man, even after narrowing the field down, the judging process was looking not very easy.
It isn't, Karthik, and I think, every year when I test drive a car, I say, clear winner.
One standout
One
car.
standout. But there seem to be now so many standout cars. Each one's creating new segments, doing something better, putting their best foot forward.
It's really impressive. Like, even the less expensive cars seem so much more appealing.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, everybody's doing something different, something new, putting their best foot forward, and the competition's getting really tight.
The winner must be that one, no?
Yeah. Try your luck. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. But you tell me about the bike of the year. Yours wasn't an easy judging either.
Well, it's not too hard either with bikes. I mean, you can have fun, and this one was more fun.
Yeah,
But
right.
which one was most fun?
Well, you'll just have to wait a while to find out which the car of the year and the bike of the year is. We hope you've enjoyed watching the show.
That's it for this week, but next week we'll be back bringing you all the cars and bikes from the Auto Expo 2016.